Welcome, 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 Lili-Anna. We so appreciate your leadership and consistent solidarity. And as always at Setsi, we begin all things by acknowledging our creator. We acknowledge the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge all our ancestors, all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So Lili-Anna, can you please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers and share a bit about your remarkable work?
Okay, donc bonjour tout le monde. Mon nom est Lili-Anna Pereša, and I'm joining you today from Jajage, Montreal. So I'm very proud Montrealer, and I am a Francophone. So therefore, your listeners hopefully will be indulgent. I do mishappen with my H's sometimes, so apologies about that. So I'm the CEO of the McConnell Foundation, and the McConnell Foundation has been around since 1937 when Mr. McConnell created it. So we are the second oldest foundation in our land. Our private foundation contributes to a diverse and innovative approaches to address community resilience, reconciliation, and climate change. We do that by using our different levers, Yes, we're funding, making contribution, but we're also investing, and we're also encouraging people to meet and to collaborate. And we do so with the various sectors, might it be the nonprofit, the public, or the private sector. And so, as I've said, the foundation sits in Jajage in Montreal. And however, we're a national focused organization. So we have a pan-Canadian view.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for all that context and deep history. We really appreciate you. So my second question is, what's inspiring you right now in your work? What has your fire lit? What are you passionate about? What are you curious about right now?
Well, I come from the sector. Joining a private foundation happened 3 years ago for me. So my belief and my posture is that we're there to serve the sector. So what inspires me is the work that charities and nonprofits we partner with are doing every day, addressing some of our society most, pressing challenges, and including climate change, reconciliation, and community resilience. So I draw inspiration from the opportunity to work with these amazing partners that are having an impact every day.
Incredible, incredible. So do you have a set of key priorities right now in your work?
Yes, so we do. We have 3 focus areas. Which I mentioned more or less, which are climate change, reconciliation, and community resilience. And we chose those specifically because when in 2021, we revisited our strategic direction, we wanted to focus on what are the most challenging issues that our society is currently facing. And we listened and we learned from our partners and from our colleagues in philanthropy, and through research and evaluation, dialogues, and convenings. And that's how we landed on these things. And for sure, what's important for us is to keep educating ourselves. So as trustees, as board members, as staff, we are always seeking ways of learning things. Might they be, we had session on reconciliation or climate change or impact investing this year, for example.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Learning organizations and even unlearning sometimes mental models. Yeah. So important in this work, especially around such pivotal sectors and ecosystems like impact investing, climate action, and most important, reconciliation. So we give thanks for your leadership as always. So my next question is, how do you feel about the future of philanthropy in Canada? Do you feel optimistic, pessimistic? Are you excited?
So the future looks a bit better maybe now than it did a few years ago. We're talking about impact investing. It's growing as a field, and more foundations are interested in finding more ways to leverage their endowment to achieve progress. But we are still in a catching up mode comparing to other countries, might it be the US or the UK. I do believe, everybody's talking also of different other ways of using that capital. So capital transfer, our topic that is being explored in the sector by many organizations. We use it as a mean of shifting power. So recently at the McConnell Foundation, we announced a transfer of $30 million of our endowment over the next 5 years to Indigenous-led philanthropy. starting with a transfer of $10 million to Indigenous Peoples Resilient Fund. And so our transfer is focused on reconciliation as an extension of our long history of work in this area. It's this year that we're celebrating 20 years of partnering with Indigenous leaders. Our first grant was made to the First Nations Child and Family Caring Society that we're still supporting today. So, and we believe that the landscape of Indigenous-led philanthropy is evolving rapidly. So that's really exciting. And along with other foundations, we have heard the call to support, the growth with meaningful action. And we believe that this is a step and recognition that Indigenous communities have the best knowledge of their own issues and solutions. So we're there to support them and that work.
I couldn't agree more. The work that I work closely with Wanda from Indigenous Peoples Resilience Fund, and their work is absolutely incredible. And even the work that's happening across the broader ecosystem, the Black-led Endowment Fund and the Foundation for Black Communities and others doing inspiring work to really press philanthropy and stretch muscles that a lot of times folks weren't even aware that were there. So capital transfers is definitely something unique and remarkable. And then obviously there's a lot happening in the impact investing space globally. Canada just received a mandate from the Global Steering Group to build out our own national advisory board on impact investing. So definitely some exciting times for the ecosystem to find ways and means to seed and to share power. Thank you so much for your candor and leadership.
I'd love to share a bit about our history of an impact investing, if you don't mind. Yeah, so we started our journey in 2007 at McConnell Foundation with a first $10 million, loan to finance the building of a university. And that was a great first experience. We got a good return, and it was therefore a milestone, a stepping way for us to learn. And that gave us a confidence to further explore impact investments as means of advancing our philanthropic objectives. So in 2012, our board gave us the mandate to have 5% of our endowment being, an impact. Not long after they said 10%, and we reached that in 2018. And then we started to work. We were really strong contributors, and we participated heavily in the Canadian Task Force on Social Finance. We worked with the government alongside Senator Ratna Admidvar on the federal government Social Innovation and Social Finance Co-Creation Steering Committee. And one of the several recommendations was the creation of the Social Finance Fund. So we're proud of that has finally happened and the role we played in it. And the last big thing that happened within our organization in December 2022, our board decided to go 100% impact investment. So we're giving ourselves 5 years to reach that goal. And while making that decision, we also decided that we would have 5% of our 100% impact investment geared towards program-related investments, so where we are considering concessionary returns. And those projects are mainly focused on reconciliation, climate change, and community resilience. So now we're at 23% of our endowment, so we have a way to go. And the challenge, as many other foundations are facing, is the market. So are there products out there that can make it, that we can invest and have a return so that we can also fulfill our other obligation, which is the 5% disbursement quota. So we need to have, hopefully returns higher than 5% to be able to sustain the work that we're doing.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that and providing once again some more context. The Co-Creation Steering Group was an incredible step in terms of progress, and the Social Finance Fund has been launched since it's a very long time. The Fall Economic Statement in 2018 was a very long time ago, but finally it's launched, and we'll definitely see how things actualize in the fund. So we appreciate you. So my next question is, what is your ultimate goal and what does success look like to you and your colleagues?
So, with those three focus areas, for sure, when it comes to climate change, we wanted to contribute to Canada's transition to a net zero carbon economy in a way that produces sustainability and has equitable outcomes for everyone. So we're just coming out of COP28. So I think there's still a lot of work to do, especially in Canada, which is an oil-producing country. So that's something that we're focusing very much on. We do have a system change approach. So we want to look at, various systems. Might it be financial systems? So sustainable finance for us is really an important core key. And we want to make sure that our investments are in alignment with our own mission. So we announced that our endowment and our operation would be net zero by 2050. And we're aiming at reducing our own emissions by 60% by 2030. So these are steps that we're taking ourselves, to make sure that what we're saying in one way, we're doing it to ourselves as well. When we talk about supporting communities, we've been doing that in Montreal since the creation of the foundation in 1937. Today, our focus is to support collaboration, collective action, policy change of equity-deserving groups. So that's what we are supporting when we make our grants. And when it comes to Indigenous work, what we strongly believe in is to advance a reconciliation economy where wealth and resources are equitably shared. And therefore, we're referring all our work to the 107 calls of prosperity that are within the National Indigenous Economic Strategy that was launched in 2022. So we just made an announcement lately. For example, we're supporting the First Nation University will be creating the institute that will follow up on all those 107 calls of prosperity, so that we're all accountable, that we evaluate our work and that we are accountable. So these are the three things that I'm really looking forward to.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for all that context. Definitely, we're on the tail end of COP, and obviously there's a lot of folks that are happy, but some that are disappointed in terms of the language phase down as opposed to phase out of fossil fuels. But the system change work that's required right now is tremendous on so many fronts. And that goal of net zero carbon economies is a tremendous and ambitious goal, but it's a needed goal if we want to see a future for our children and our children's children. So once again, I appreciate your leadership. So my last question is, do you have any closing thoughts or calls to action for our listeners and our viewers?
An invitation to your viewers to have a look. We have a document which is called McConnell at a Glance. So you can understand everything that we do. It's on our website. You can also understand, if you want to go deeper, look at our year in review. So you'll have a better understanding of who are our partners and how we do our work. We also have our impact investing report, where you can see all our investments that we're doing and all our thinking around evaluation and making sure that we are measuring, because the hardest thing to do with impact investment is to evaluate and to have targets and objectives and to follow through. My wish is, I believe that we are accountable to the sector. And we need to be aware of the importance of transparency that is required to have a trusting relationship. So that is an invitation I'm sending to my peers. And for me, success is all about collaboration. And that we at present, we're present so many collaborations, collective pool funds or supporting participatory grant making through different platforms. Might it be in the north and with Underland, Northwest Territory, in Montreal neighborhoods with the Collective Impact Project, or supporting youth and climate through the Foundation of Environmental Stewardship. So, shifting that power, making the people who know better make decisions, and transferring these dollars so that people can make decision based on their own lived experiences is what I'm inviting others to look at as well.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for all that. So I really appreciate you. And I really appreciate you always being responsive when we reach out in terms of the Setsi team, my colleagues. We really appreciate all that you do for so many. Thank you.
My pleasure. Have a good day.
Yeah, and we'll close this interview the way we began by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands we're on. We acknowledge our creator. We acknowledge all our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all our elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, and learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. Thank you so much, Lili-Anna.
Thank you.